Hey guys, Tom itself here. I uploaded a video to DRMB a couple days ago, and something funny happened. Wound up with an F2000, a pair of defibrillators, and a motion sensor. One of these things is not like the others. It just doesn't belong, but, you know, if I could set my class up this way, I might do it occasionally, because this seems like a pretty good setup. Nonetheless, it got me thinking, what would you do if you could select any gun, any first and second gadget you wanted? What would people use? Would something become overpowered just because you could use a different combination than the game already lets you? Or would it just make it even more painfully obvious that the defibrillators are the most overpowered thing in this game? This clip is ridiculous on so many levels, but yeah. No, anyway, that's what I want to talk about. It's somewhat Call of Duty inspired, you could say, but really it's just asking, hey, how does this balance actually work? What would it be like if you could create a class in Battlefield 3? Oh, I'm sorry, puppy. No scopes for everyone! So the first thing that comes to mind that could be just absolutely ridiculous would be SOFLAM and Javelin. But those occupy the same gadget slot, so it wouldn't be an issue. You still have to find someone else who's willing to spawn in with the other side of that combination in order to make it work. And then you've got things like the medkit and the ammo pack, and I really don't see how letting any class have those can be a serious issue, because you already assume that you'll be able to find one most of the time, and it just can possibly take away from, or maybe make it worse, of trying to find some guy who has ammo. So, again, you just expect to find those packs just laying around on the ground, and maybe they don't even belong to your team. And hey, so if you can have one yourself as opposed to finding someone else who has one, it's not going to make a serious shift in the balance of the game unless you have, like, I think it's Bad Company 2 was where you had ammo and noob tubes. That could get annoying, but still the reload time, and that includes the RPG and small, the reload time, yeah, it could get annoying, but it more or less keeps them from being spammed. I mean, even if you had a sniper sitting hundreds of meters away with a medkit, yeah, it could be more difficult to take him out. At the same time, you're probably going to need to get another sniper and headshot that camping asshole. And so him having a medkit and being able to camp there, yeah, I guess it's not the biggest game breaker. Honestly, the biggest issue with this, that I could see, would be that no one would have a reason to run the engineer weapons anymore, the carbines. Because the assault rifles are simply better for pretty much every reason, as far as I know. They do more damage, and yeah, it's basically just that they do more damage. You deal with 4-shot kills up close instead of 5. What's to argue with that? So I guess that'd be an entire category of weapons that people would be like, oh, it's underpowered. Everybody can use the M16 now, or what is the popular one now, the 416? Yeah, everybody can use the same gun. That could get a little old, and yet the balance is fairly good between the guns in Battlefield, so if you wanted to run something else, I guess you could. Me personally, I'd run the SKS a whole lot more. Now, you could say this is making it more like Call of Duty, and in some kind of right, but I give Battlefield more credit than that, as you're choosing between things that are fairly incomparable. You got, even within the engineer class, you've got choices between the repair tool, which can be used offensively, or the AT mines, which are pretty much simply a defensive tool. And you'd be like, oh, that's a tough choice, except that you really normally only want the AT mines on defense, on rush, and the repair tool, you normally want that on offense, and maybe on defense too, if you can manage to steal the attacker vehicle. Yeah, that's always a good thing, and manage to keep that up so they don't get it to respawn. Oh, while Battlefield has things that are pretty much unquantifiable just because of the mechanics, the situations you'll want them in are fairly obvious for the most part. And yeah, you can change your playstyle, but a lot of them, why would you want a SOFLAM if there weren't vehicles around, unless you wanted to be a dick with the laser pointer? Yeah. No, I don't know. It would eliminate a lot of options, but I don't see many of them as being options to start with. The real question is, would it make more options? Oh, in general, the two big classes you see all the time are Assault on infantry-heavy maps, and yeah, the assault rifle is awesome, but the defibs are even more amazing, so I think you'd see lots of defibrillators still. and engineer, because the repair tool is fairly useful if you've got your own vehicles, and otherwise you want the Stinger, the RPG, or the Javelin to destroy enemy vehicles, and I think that's what you'd see a whole lot of. You might see some more changes in the first gadget slot. You could choose between the med kit, or you could run around with a light machine gun and an underslung shotgun. M60, M26. That might be fun. Or you could see snipers who had a shotgun secondary. Interesting. Well, I guess the 93R is no longer a shotgun, so I don't know how that would change things. But in general, I think you just see a whole lot of defib and SPA. That's, yeah, I think that's what it would devolve into, with lots and lots of assault rifles. And so, this separating out the classes, I don't know. That's how Battlefield does it. But in terms of choosing between making trade-offs, and it usually comes down to those gadgets rather than the guns. Anyway, that is enough rambling for today. Just a question I thought I'd pose. Let me know what your thoughts on it are, and I'll see you guys later.